How is it going, Bears fans? Welcome back to another episode of Beared Down Uncut on the Beared Down channel, where we normally talk everything Bears every day of the week. Before we hop into this video, guys, we haven't posted in about a week. Parth has COVID. Jaylen's phone's broken. I was road tripping, went home to vote last week, but we are back this week, kicking off our Week 10 coverage versus the Minnesota Vikings. We are glad to be back, and we're going to act like absolutely nothing changed. So we are back. Don't expect us to miss any weeks throughout the rest of the season. I am your host, Chris Malpe, and today to talk about Matt Nagy's play calling in episode number 92 of Uncut, I am joined with both of my co-hosts, Parth and Zach Rimbos. How's it going, guys?
I'm doing pretty good. I got COVID, but recovering in quarantine. I got 7 more days left in isolation, but yeah, the Bears just lost this Sunday. We're gonna talk about that right now, but yeah, just trying to recover.
I'm doing good. I'm in a final stretch here of school, but got about 2 weeks left, and sadly, I'm not very happy after Bears lost yesterday after three straight, but ready to talk about it at least. So.
Yeah, let's hop right into it. Before we do get into the video, I would like to talk about today's sponsor. Today's episode of Uncut is sponsored by RSA Sports Memorabilia and Autograph Collectibles Store. RSA is your home of the largest JSA authenticated autograph distributors in the world, giving deals that nobody else can offer. Search their deals of the day, try your luck with their mystery memorabilia boxes, and much more at shoprsa.com. Before we head further into the video, here's a message from RSA, our sponsors today. All right, so as you guys know, today's video is sponsored by Rochester Sports Autographs. Your best spot to go if you want sports memorabilia. You can find them on social media at RS Autographs. But luckily enough, by the way, Pete the merch, they sent me a Bears mystery box. I believe there's a jersey in here. So let's get my handy dandy scissors. Let's see what's in this. This might be the best part of the video because honestly, the entirety of the video was us talking about Matt Nagy needing to give up play calling. But all right, here we go. Let's open this sucker up. I think it opens from the bottom. Can I get it out? We shall see. There we go. Have a little bit of trouble opening boxes. I should probably get something better to open boxes with. But hopefully we can do something like this again in the future. Maybe give something away to you guys. But here we go. You see inside, there is a white Bears jersey. I'm going to slide it out slowly. See what we've got. Oh boy. I see the letters. I'll show you guys what I see right now. I think I know what this is. I see the letters MON. I think I know what that means. A certain someone who's currently in concussion protocol. David Montgomery. Oh man, 32 signed jersey. Check this sucker out, guys. I'm gonna hold it up close to the camera. David Montgomery, though, I think these are the Bears 100-year memorabilia jerseys, because you can see. Actually, I'm not sure. They do. I think they have the stripes on the side here. I'll take it out of the bag. Screw it. But as you can see, JSA certified, signed. Oh man, David Montgomery. This is gonna go right back in after this, but woo! Oh man. Oh, it is a fake jersey, but the front side here, the back side, Montgomery with the clean signature right now. Don't want to scruff that up at all, but oh my goodness. Also has some certification down here on the sleeve. But guys, be sure to go check out RSA. You want anything autographed, they'll get it to you for the best prices. RSA, thank you so much for sponsoring this video. Let's do it again in the future. And now back to the episode of Uncut. Enjoy, guys. All right, so we are back now. Hope you guys enjoyed that sponsored piece. I do like the jersey that I ended up pulling a lot. But we are here today to talk about Matt Nagy and his play calling. I haven't gotten much of a chance to watch the Bears' last 2 weeks of games just because I was traveling home. As I said earlier on, I went home to vote. But Matt Nagy today in a press conference did say that the Bears are considering making a change at offensive play caller. If you take a look at the Bears' game versus the Titans yesterday, the Bears went 2 for 15 on third down against the worst third down defense in the league in the Tennessee Titans. So we can start this one off on a pretty somber note, Zach, I want to pass it to you first. I mean, it's a pretty simple question. Do you think Matt Nagy needs to end up giving up the play calling this year?
Yeah, he's continuously said that they've evaluated where the problems on the offense generate from, and obviously the offensive line is putrid. Our QB play has been putrid as well, but eventually you just have to think it's time to switch something up. You lose 3 straight on a team that has a top 10 defense. You have to make changes, and that's just what you have to do as a head coach. And if you're the play caller, then so be it. You have to change it up, and that's basic. But we'll get into more depth later. But yeah, that would be the answer for me.
Yeah, I got to go ahead and agree with you. We recently saw the New York Jets give up their play calling. Adam Gase actually gave it to a familiar face in Darrell Loggins, and they've been a little bit better. I mean, we saw a little bit better offense from them, but for the Bears, I mean, you've lost 3 straight games. Things aren't trending upwards whatsoever. I think the Bears are officially out of the playoffs. I mean, they're on the outside looking in right now, but I officially think they have no chance if they lose to the Minnesota Vikings in 7 days on Monday Night Football. So I think you've got to try and change something up and see if there's a spark. Obviously, we see the issues with the quarterback, Nick Foles. It is tough for him when there's pressure in your face literally every play. I mean, we saw the starting offensive lineman for the Bears last week or yesterday in Tennessee. Let me correct myself. I mean, there was pressure in his face the entire game. We saw Leno, Arlington Hambright, Alex Bars, Jermaine Fetty, and Rashad Coward. That's not the group you want out there, and I think it affects the QB's play a little bit, but I don't think it was entirely on Foles yesterday. I think he was actually good for a decent part of the game, definitely missed a few throws, but the offensive line is bad, the QB play is bad. I think you have to change something up. I think it's vital. If you want to beat Minnesota, a team who's coming in as 2.5-point favorites at 3-5, I think you have to switch something up if you want to see a spark in this offense. And I think there's no harm in trying at the end of the day. It can't get much worse than it did. The Bears were absolutely putrid yesterday. Zach, you used that word, against a defense that they should have been able to play much better against. So, Parth, I'm going to pass it around to you now. Do you think it's time for Matt Nagy to give up these play calling duties?
I think it is, but like we always say, it can't get much worse, but it somehow keeps getting worse week in and week out. I mean, this week they scored 0 points in the first half. At the end of the day, the Bears aren't scoring points. We average 19.8 points per game, the 5th lowest in the NFL.
And it seems like when another team gets to 10 points, it's a death sentence.
Yeah, basically. I mean, a touchdown literally kills the Bears. We literally scored 10 points versus the Rams 3 weeks ago. And then last week against the Saints, we put up 23. I think a couple of those came from garbage time. Same with this week, 17 points, but lots of garbage time touchdowns. At this point, the offense has to pick it up. There's no question about it. And like you said, we need a spark. I think giving up the play calling and handing it to another guy like Bill Lazor could somehow provide a spark. I don't think it's going to be easy to just turn this offense around by just giving up the play calling, but I think it would be the start of a new regime in Chicago. I think it's time. The Bears offense has been bad for almost a year plus, and Matt Nagy's been the play caller for the whole entire time. So why not give it a shot at this point?
I mean, we don't have the stats yet on how much Nick Foles was pressured last week, but he had a decent game. A lot of people are putting him down saying to throw in Trubisky, but Foles threw for 335 yards, was sacked 3 times, had 2 touchdowns, no turnovers, also a passer rating of 99.4. The Bears couldn't get it going on the ground once again. I mean, what do you expect against a run defense that you probably should be able to gash? They weren't able to do anything. But they've got the 3-5 Minnesota Vikings, who are riding a 2-game win streak within the NFC North, coming in next week, November 16th, 8:15 p.m. Eastern. The Vikings are favored in that game. The Bears are not favored to win it. The Bears are scoring 19.8 points per game. They have the worst third down offense in the league. They're averaging 338.6 yards per game, only 82.3 on the ground. They've become pretty one-dimensional. So, it's tough, and you would have to think that maybe giving up play calling for Nagy can create a spark. Obviously, that Bears game with the Vikings is coming up in 7 days, and I said it earlier, I think if the Bears lose to the Vikings, they're probably out of it for the season. But if you win, you're at 6-4, you're still in a decent spot with some winnable games coming up with obviously Detroit again. You got the Houston Texans, who have struggled, coming to town. You head to Jacksonville to play the Jaguars. And then obviously you're going to play Minnesota again before the season ends. So, Zach, I want to ask you, We have 7 days until the Bears face the Vikings. Do you think this change should happen now before week 10 or possibly after when we head into the bye week?
I mean, it's difficult to say. Me just being a fan, I would say I would do it now. I just think that all the struggles that we've been having, it seems the source of the problem tends to lead back to whoever is play calling, and that's just, I feel like that's kind of league wide when your offense can't score points on poor defenses. Even if it's not the worst offense in the league, but we still aren't putting up points, and that says something. So, I would say if it somehow does not get turned around here this week, then it definitely needs to happen. Did you say after or before the next bye week?
After or before this week 10 game, or after when we obviously head into our week 11 bye?
Yeah, so I mean, if it continues into the Vikings game and we just can't get anything going, then definitely I think it needs to change after the bye week. And if it doesn't, then we're kind of shooting ourselves in the foot. So
I like how the Bears match up against the Minnesota Vikings. We've seen Dalvin Cook be one of the best running backs in the league so far, and we're going to get into that later this week. But if you can control him, I like the Bears' odds to win this one. Kirk Cousins has struggled against the Bears forever. Something that Parth is always very boastful about is the Vikings haven't beaten the Bears since 2016 or 17. I'm not even sure, but they haven't had success against us recently. That's the point. You have to win this game, and I think you've got to switch it up this game. The Bears are trending downwards. They're on a 3-game skid. I think you've got to change something up this week. Nagy came out in a press conference today and did say, I said it earlier, that they are considering changing the offensive play calling duties. He also said that if that change is made, he will not publicly reveal it. Something to me sounds like that change has already been made. I'm hoping it has been made, so I hope it's made this week. If not, definitely after the bye, but I think the sooner the better in this case. Parth, what do you think?
I think I agree with you on that one. I think the change has been made. I think after I heard that they won't publicly announce it, Nagy, as much as I think he's a great coach and has been a great coach, there's times where he isn't, and he's been arrogant. I do consider him an arrogant person, and I think that shows the arrogancy right there, that they're not going to publicly announce it. I think the change has been made, and I'm happy it has been made. And I also think another change needs to happen. I know a lot of people aren't calling for it just yet, but I do think I could see it. I would not mind a change at the quarterback position either.
Yeah, and we'll get into that. I mean, obviously, there have been reports from Ian Rappaport saying that the Bears are already planning on moving on from Mitchell Trubisky this offseason, but the Bears do have 2 viable options for handing off the play calling duties whenever they end up doing it. Most notably, Bill Lazor, who is currently the offensive coordinator, as well as John DeFilippo, the quarterback's coach. Both have spent a ton of time with Nick Foles, who, for right now, and obviously, Parth, we can discuss it. We'll probably discuss it later this week. Nick Foles right now is the presumed starting quarterback. They've spent a lot of time with him in the past. So, Zach, I want to pass it back around to you. DeFilippo has been with Foles a lot more recently during his time seeing success in Philadelphia, also during his time seeing a downfall where DeFilippo got fired midseason with the Jacksonville Jaguars. Who do you think that these play calling duties should be handed off to?
Yeah, I like DeFilippo. I mean, obviously he knows a lot about Foles, and he's been with him for some time. But I also think that Lazor I feel like he would give us the best shot as in terms of play calling in general for the offense. I think that he has a lot of knowledge about the game as well, and I think that he complements what Nagy wants to do as well. Which I mean, hopefully it would make a big change if he did start to take over play calling duties, or if he has whatever happens. I think that he presents us the best opportunity among the coaches that we have. But you know what? I mean, honestly, at this point, I would not mind either. I honestly just want to see something change. You know what? If it doesn't work, then it just doesn't work. But something needs to switch up here.
Doesn't hurt trying, my man.
Right, and like you were saying, we haven't lost them since it was December of 2017, the Vikings. But it's a different year, so something's got to change, I think, and then we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, taking a look at Lazor, he was Foles' quarterback's coach in 2013 with the Philadelphia Eagles, a season in which Foles threw 27 touchdowns. That's pretty promising to me. Something that Lazor's been known for in the past when he's been offensive coordinator of the Miami Dolphins, also helped out there with the Cincinnati Bengals, also was the offensive coordinator and quarterbacks coach at Virginia for a couple of years, and has worked throughout the league for quite some time. He's been known to run a lot of heavy play action sets, something that Foles has succeeded in the past. They're both intriguing to me. I'm going to go with Laser, and here's why. David Montgomery is currently in the concussion protocol. I think we're probably going to end up seeing Lamar Miller be the lead back for the Bears, finally get promoted from the practice squad in Week 10 against the Vikings. Lamar Miller had his best years in Miami when he was younger in 2014, 2015. Who was the offensive play caller then for them? Bill Lazor. I think there's familiarity with Lazor. He knows this offense. DeFilippo, we've seen the highs and the lows with him, but DeFilippo is obviously the quarterback's coach, and Bill Lazor is the offensive coordinator in Chicago. I think regardless of who you hand it to, it can get better, and I think there's no harm in trying, but personally, if it was me, I'd give it to Lazor. I think I'm going to go ahead and agree with you, Zach. I think Lazor gives us the best shot here. So, Parth, before we close this one off, who do you think the offensive play calling duties, if they are handed off, should be given to? Bill Lazor or John DeFilippo?
I'm gonna have to agree with you, Chris, and I'll go with Lazor as well. We saw DeFilippo try to call plays in Jacksonville with Foles, and that obviously didn't work out. But while he was in Philadelphia, he was the quarterback's coach at the time, and they did pretty well together like that. So, I mean, if we're going to stick with Foles, I think it's obvious to give the play calling to Lazor. Like you said, there's familiarity in the offense. He knows Lamar Miller, and if Lamar Miller is the starting running back next week, that will also help Miller out and Lazor. I think it's time to give it to Lazor. I think I said it last week or the week before. We've been waiting on this, and I think this is the best week to do it on Monday Night Football.
And the Bears did just add a quarterback. They signed Kyle Slaughter, a preseason legend, to their practice squad. So should be interesting to see how things switch up. I'm sure he'll probably back up Nick Foles next week. But we'll see if Matt Nagy wants to give up the play calling. It seems like it's imminent that it's going to happen. The question now is when and to who. Thank you guys so much for tuning into episode number 92 of Uncut. If you want more content from us, you can head over to our website, beareddown.com. We're going to get our coverage started very soon for Week 10 to get you guys ready for the Monday Night Football matchup between the Bears and the Minnesota Vikings. If you would like to find more stuff from us, find us on social media. Head over to Instagram and Twitter at Beared Down. That's where we're at on both platforms. I'm sure in the next couple of weeks, we're going to be announcing our November giveaway. We just gave away last month an Anthony Miller signed mini helmet. We want to give back to you guys as much as possible. And finally, you can find the links down in the description to me, Zach, and Parth's social media, both Instagram fan pages and Twitter. We're super active on both platforms, and it's a great way to interact with us. Zach Rimbos, Parth Shaw, the Bears are on a 3-game skid, but giving up those play calling duties could definitely spark a match in my mind. Any last words?
Let's turn this thing around, Bears fans. I know it's been rough, but I think we can do it.
Yeah, I mean it sucks just kind of going through a week when you lose. I feel like the week is kind of the whole stain is put on the week. But hopefully we can come out here and get a couple wins. Like you said, we're kind of out looking into the playoffs right now. So if we have any chance here, we're gonna have to turn some things around. So we'll see what happens, I guess. But bear down.
Bear down. That's pretty much about it for us, guys. We're going to kick off our Week 10 coverage very soon. You're seeing this on Monday. Our Week 10 coverage will kick off on Tuesday. Feels great to be back, a little rusty, but we are back, and hopefully the Bears can turn it around as we return. It's been a pleasure to be your host once again. My name is Chris Malpe. Thank you so much to RSA for sponsoring this video. Be sure to go check them out for your best deals for memorabilia at shoprsa.com. And Bears fans, as always, do us a favor, stay safe and bear down. We'll see you in the next one. Peace.